Well, a horse who was a heavy favourite for the Coral Gold Cup last year.
3-1, I think he was sent off for the Coral Cup. He's a good horse and he liked the ground, and we know from Henry
the rain's been pretty important for him, I'd say, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he's been solid in the market as well, but he didn't run badly in the race in which Corbett's Cross got knocked over last time. He finished second in that race, and that was a good run, and he'll need to step forward from that, but he could, and he's back down to a workable mark.
They're all assembled at the start, and they're joined by Tom Stanley.
Yeah, so just a little way from it. I mean, well, I say a little way from it. I'm 100 yards back from the start, and the horses are still 100 yards further away. That is Highland Hunter in the distance, the grey. Obviously not right in the distance, a little bit closer to us than the rest. And his groom has walked him all the way down. To be fair, he went down absolutely fine, nice and relaxed, but clearly it's a thing with this horse that they are wanting to just keep a lid on the horse for as long as possible and walk him all the way down, and then he will join up with the rest of them. Otherwise, I thought Eclair de Rire went down enthusiastically enough. Nice big horse in the flesh, as I heard Martin saying there, for Rachel Blackmore and Henry de Bromhead. And the other one that went down, I thought, really took the eye going down, actually, was Run Wild Fred. And has Danny Gilligan taking off 3, of course. I guess the big question for the first of the handicaps is, will they go first time? Obviously they didn't in the Supreme, but they have long enough to sort themselves out here. Just to reflect on what Kim Bailey said, you see they're always being told to slow down. I thought he seemed sort of strangely positive for Kim. I think he would always err on the side of caution and not overly positive. He knows enough about the game to not be really too positive. But I thought he was about both his runners.
Off away first time. The Ultima Handicap chase, 3 miles and a furlong, heading to the first of 20. Twig, maroon cap is handy, with the noseband at Chianti Classico, famous bridge up between them. We've all been caught down at the running rail rising for the first time. At the other end of the field, Shambar is the early back marker, and stablemate Victorino is just in front of him. Quickly to the second, and down at the second, and a very bad mistake in doing so, and he eventually departs, is Trelawn. Trelawn has gone at the second, as the rest now heads up the hill towards the third. So one of the market leaders, Trelawn, out of the race at the second, and as they go on the incline for the first time. The grey Highland Hunter has moved through with Eclair de Rire, Chianti Classico, and Twig is up there, with We've All Been Caught down at the running rail to Lord de Menil in a purple and yellow jacket, and famous bridge and Manila Crooner in the grey Eldorado Allen. Stumptown in the dark green is in mid-division, with Meeting of the Waters, the hoops, the white cap further back alongside Bustleton to Run Wild Fred and Kitty's Light and Monbeg Genius. And the Crooner, Highland Hunter, made quite a serious mistake at the first going down the far side, and a very bad mistake by Monbeg Genius has knocked him right back through the field. He's just been passed by Victorino and Gevre. Shambar remains last of the field as they come to the water, and Eclair de Rire hopped over in front. Monbeg Genius at the water was much better, and still last of the field is Shambar, as they continue to head on off the far side for the first time and move on to the first of the ditches. Big leap on that occasion from the grey Highland Hunter alongside Eclair de Rire. They're the leading pair. To Twig with the maroon cap, Lord de Menil in the cheek pieces, in turn being followed through by We've All Been Caught and Famous Bridge, and then Chianti Classico in the noseband to a pair of greys, Eldorado, Allen, Excelsis. Meeting of the Waters in midfield as they race across the top of the hill first time to Kitty's Light with the red sleeves. And then Stumptown and Manila Crooner in the black and white, who's out wide from the Goffer and Gevre, and Run Wild Fred to Monbeg Genius and Bustleton and Victorino, and Shambar last of all as they take the open ditch at the top of the hill. Lord de Menil got in a little bit close to it. So it's Eclair de Rire and the grey Highland Hunter who will lead them on the descent first time. They make their way on towards the 9th in the Ultima. Leading duo move on by a couple of lengths to Twig, who's just shading third. We've All Been Caught against the running rail, disputing fourth with Lord de Menil, and then Chianti Classico in the sheepskin noseband, just in advance of Famous Bridge, the white cap, the grey Eldorado Allen yellow jacket, the other grey Excelsis red cap, just behind the leading cluster. He's followed out wide by Manila Crooner. Meeting of the Waters still waited with early on from Kitty's Light as they rise out the 9th. The leading pair were pretty assured. Still at the back of the field, Shambar. Bustleton has only got Shambar behind. Victorino is immediately in front of that pair, and after that fairly serious error early on, Monbeg Genius is in the last group of 4, and he's just in behind Gevre, who's in the purple and white. So about to take the turn, which brings them to the end of a circuit in the Ultima. They move on towards fences 10 and 11. Eclat de Ria, the light blue cap, alongside Highland Hunter. From Twig and Lord de Benil, and We've All Been Caught, and Chianti Classico. And then Famous Bridge and Eldorado Allen from Excelsis and Manila Crooner. Meeting of the Water and Kitty's Light. And then Run Wild Fred in the maroon Jigginstown silks from the Goffer and Gevray. Stumptown's being bustled along. He's lost a bit of ground, dark green and yellow. He's in the last group of 4 or 5 in company with Monbeg Genius, who gets a reminder. Victorino and Shambar have made a little headway, and Bustleton is being pushed along last of all as they meet rising ground once again and head on towards the 12th. Highland Hunter and Eclat de Ria are still the leading duo. Over Twig and Chianti Classico 3rd and 4th. Then Lord de Menil and Famous Bridge jumping up past We've All Been Caught down at the running rail. Excelsis is just in behind that group, followed further back by Eldorado Allen from Meeting of the Waters, Manila Crooner, Kitty's Light, Monbeg Genius, the Goffer, Run Wild Fred, Shambar. Further back to Gevray and then Victorino, and then back to Stumptown as they come to the first, heading away from the stands on the descent. Bustleton has been pulled up. He's out of the race. He didn't jump the 13th. The rest are already pressing on towards the water. And it's Highland Hunter over Eclat de Ria, Twig, Chianti Classico, Red Cap very close 4th, ahead of Famous Bridge and Lord de Menil, and We've All Been Caught, and Excelsis. Manila Crooner, Meeting of the Waters, is beginning to inch a little bit closer now. McManus Hoops, White Cap for Mark Walsh as they take the open ditch. Highland Hunter still running a big race in front. Manila Crooner made a bad mistake at that one. We've All Been Caught was a little bit awkward as well. Run Wild Fred is being bustled along. Monbeg Genius is struggling. Gevray is struggling. And Highland Hunter continues to lead the Ultima field. Chianti Classico has travelled up strongly into second ahead of Twig. Then Eclat de Ria relegated to dispute 4th with Famous Bridge. Still, Meeting of the Waters is getting closer. He's up to dispute 6th place now with We've All Been Caught as they come to the open ditch at the top of the hill. Highland Hunter and Chianti Classico, the leading pair over it to Twig. Famous Bridge is close up in 4th. Meeting of the Waters is going 5. Then comes Eclat de Ria. Monbeg Genius has been pulled up at the top of the hill. Excelsis is another who's being pulled up. Eldorado Allen looks like pulling up. Stumptown is tailed off, and they're freewheeling on down the long run now. And it's Highland Hunter over Chianti Classico. Famous Bridge, white sleeves and cap right in behind them, running a big race for Nicky Richards and the team. Twig is bang there, the maroon cap for Beau Morgan. Meeting of the Waters in behind them. The Goffer in the blue and red is making progress. And then Shambar, 3 out. Chianti Classico took over there from Highland Hunter. Twig, Famous Bridge. Still, Meeting of the Waters is getting closer, and the Goffer covers his move, and they are moving menacingly on the heels of the leaders as they begin the swing back towards home. They've got 2 left to jump in the Ultima. Chianti Classico, Twig, Meeting of the Waters, the white cap, the Goffer in the blue and red. Famous Bridge is hanging on in there in 5th, but this group of 5 are clear as they face the second last. Nosebound at Chianti Classico, Twig. Here's Meeting of the Waters on the left. Then Famous Bridge over in 4th. The Goffer can't muster anymore. Chianti Classico, game in front at the final fence. Jumps it well. Overball, pitched on landing. Landed 4 lengths ahead though. Twig is chasing. Meeting of the Waters now 1 pace back in 3rd. Chianti Classico getting a bit lonely halfway up the running, but he's grinding this out for Kim Bailey. Chianti Classico and David Bass full bore, and the drinks are on Chianti Classico. He wins the Ultima over Twig and Meeting of the Waters, clear of Famous Bridge. Then the Goffer, We've All Been Caught, Kitty's Light and Shambar the last to finish.
Kim Bailey and David Bass team up for festival glory with Chianti Classico, who travelled sweetly throughout and found generously when his rider asked. Second is Twig for Ben Pauling, a horse who it was thought couldn't go on soft ground. He's run a career best. Meeting of the Waters has travelled beautifully and has emptied just from 2 out. But David Bass looks